Hey everyone, this is Mel from Cardstock Concoctions. Welcome back to another video tutorial today. Today's tutorial is a chipboard business card holder. This business card holder is made with medium weight chipboard, and I did go ahead and paint it with acrylic paint to get the gray color. If you are using black chipboard, feel free. If you want to use craft chipboard and you want to leave it that color, again, feel free. The pattern paper used today is Die Cuts with a View Treasures. It had a lot of really great textures as well as a lot of matte and shine to it that allowed for a very visual effect that I was looking for. As you guys can see here, it is a very deep business card holder as well as a very high business card holder. I wanted it nice and high so that the cards wouldn't fall out. I wanted it nice and deep so that I could put lots of cards in there all at once because I forget to refill it a lot. However, if you are looking for something that's not quite as deep, I will give you guys directions on how to do that in just a few seconds. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what are we going to need for this project here today? Today, we are going to need some chipboard. You're going to need various chipboard pieces. I would strongly recommend that all of your chipboard be medium weight chipboard, which equals 1/16 of an inch. So if anybody is curious, I will try to add in the description box below what that would be in millimeters for those of you who are not part of the US. Okay, so the various pieces of chipboard that you're going to need, again, strongly recommend that they be 1/16 of an inch or medium weight chipboard. I created all of my pieces out of scrap, just so everybody is aware this is a great project for scrap. Okay, so the first piece you're going to need, you need it to be 4 inches long by 1 inch tall. This is your front. And by the way, I did label all of these. Make 2 of your side pieces, which are 2 1/4 inches tall by 2 1/8 inch wide. Make 2. Then you have a back piece that is 4 by 2 1/4. So 4 inches by 2 1/4. Then you have a base piece that is 4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. So again, you could make 2 of these, but I did make 2 separate pieces. And now I wanted to mount my base piece, so I needed another mount for it. So make that 4 1/2 inches by 2 3/4 inches. Again, 4 1/2 by 2 3/4. If you are interested in making this smaller, so making it a little bit thinner of a card, business card holder, the pieces that you will need to correct are your base piece and your base mount, your base, and your side pieces. So everybody is aware. Again, if you are going to make this thinner, these are the ones that you need to correct. Base, mount, base, and side. If you're making it thinner, instead of doing 4 by 2 1/4, you're going to want 4 by whatever it is. So if it's 1 1/2, do 4 by 1 1/2. Your mount, whatever you reduce your base piece by, reduce your mount by. Now your sides are going to have to be a little bit careful, or a little more careful, I should say. Let's say you want this to be 4 by 1 1/2 instead of 4 by 2 1/4. This is going to need, your sides are 1/8 inch less in width, than your base piece. So take off 1/8 of an inch from side to side. Top to bottom, still the same. Side to side, remove 1/8 from your base. However, I liked this size. It allowed for a good chunk of business cards to be in the same spot, so they wouldn't roll off my desk. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to push some of these pieces out of the way. I recommend doing this part first because it makes it a lot easier. You're also going to need a ruler. I'm sorry, guys, I forgot to tell you this. Grab yourself a ruler. I'm actually going to use this one here. On your side pieces, turn them both over. I would actually just turn one over, but turn them both over. Measure up 1 inch. Grab yourself a pencil. Make a mark. Okay. Using that same ruler, go from the top of your 2¼ inches down to that mark and draw a line. Okay, like so. Then I'm gonna grab out my cutting mat here. Grab yourself a cutting mat, an X-Acto knife, and a metal ruler. Line up your ruler along your line here and cut down. So why did we measure up 1 inch? Because guess what? That is the amount of your front. I really need to replace the blade in my X-Acto knife here. If you have a cutting board that you can do this on that will allow you this precise of a cut, I would say go ahead and use it. There we go. All right. Be very careful when using an X-Acto knife, everybody. All right, so you wind up removing that. So why are you wanting to check this after you do that? Go ahead and check to make sure that your side is no taller than your front. All right, so repeat that process twice. Now, what I would suggest doing is once you cut the first one and get it right, line it up with your second one, draw your line, cut your second one. Okay, let me get rid of that. Okay, so now you have your pieces. Let's go ahead and work on construction. You want your base piece, your back, your 2 sides, and your front. Your base mount, not really important right now, but set it off to the side. I'm going to be adhering everything with this Beacon Fabric Tack glue. Go ahead and use whatever glue, high quality, very strong glue you want. I also very much like using glue guns. Hot glue works as well. As I said, glue guns, hot glue, depending on where you're from, depends on what it's called. I always forget. I leave that in there so that I don't lose it. There we go. Okay, so make sure it's a very strong adhesive glue. If you are someone that really, really loves hinges, you can use hinges to put this together. I personally don't think this thing warrants hinges. My personal opinion, I get overridden by people a lot. So there we go. Okay, so the first piece, I'm going to take the back. We're going to run a small bead of glue. Okay, sorry about that. Unclogging. Okay, so we're going to run a small bead of glue along the bottom edge of your back piece here. And if you guys can't tell, I had a little bit of a rough cut because it was scrap. I made that my bottom edge. I'm going to line this up as straight as I can at a 90-degree angle with the back of my chipboard. Any excess, any overhang. I'm going to try to kind of sort of clean that up now. It's a lot easier to do it now than it is later. And somebody asked me, how do you do that? I just use my finger and I run it in there. It comes off your fingers. It does not come off cardstock. But again, you want a nice, even, straight line. Okay. Then I want to attach my sides. I'm going to run a bead of glue down my long 2¼ inch side and along my bottom. Okay. Clean up any excess that I've got to start with. Push those pieces together. Again, you want to make sure nice and evenly lined up with the edge of your chipboard. Okay? You should find that you have an itty bitty gap right there for your front. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean up some of this glue in here. I'm going to repeat the process with my other side. All right, so we've finished attaching the two sides. And we are ready to attach the front. So run a small bead of glue along the bottom of the front. And I go down just the very edge of both of the front sides. Okay. I lay mine flat like this. Line it up and attach. Remove my excess glue as I go. Okay, now that I've got most of the glue removed from my hands, if you were using black chipboard, at this point in time, you can go ahead and skip ahead to matting your business card holder. However, I wasn't, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to paint it. So at this point in time, I'm going to paint both the cardstock holder inside and out. The only thing I'm not going to do is the base. And I'm also going to paint the base mount. I'm going to paint the bottom of the base mount and around the edges of the top. I am going to be using Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylic. This is a medium gray. Apparently it's value 6. I don't know what that means, but it turns out to be a really nice gray color. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that, and I will be right back. All right, everyone. As you can see, I am back after painting. I did paint the entire bottom portion of the base mount piece, but then just around the border and left the front open because not only is it going to have this thing on top of it, but it's also going to be matted. I did not actually paint the underside of our card holder, but I did paint around the edges of everything. And on the inside piece here, I did not actually come up with mats for the two inside sides, the front, but I did come up with one for the back. If you guys choose to just paint yours fully, you're going to want to make sure you paint all of your sides, obviously, equally. Now, back here, it looks a little bit rougher to me. Most of that will be covered up with my pattern paper. But I also could have taken a piece of sandpaper to it and cleaned it up a little bit more before I painted, but I decided it was not worth it for me. Paper-wise, we're going to be die cuts with a view. We are going to be using their Treasures paper stock. I really like this one because it had a lot of textures to it. It also had a lot of businessy kind of things to it, I guess is the word I'm going to use. So I did go ahead and I did choose a piece and cut all my my pattern paper pieces here. And so we will go over those. Now, how am I going to attach those? I'm going to be using glue. I like me some glue. What can I say? The first one I'm going to attach is the base mount piece, which is this piece here. And it is 4 3/4 by 2 5/8. Again, 4 3/4. No, 4 3/8. I'm sorry. Pay attention to the screen, not to me. 4 3/8 by 2 5/8. Yes. Go ahead and use some just basic glue here. Get that all around. I did allow for a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. Make sure that doesn't move. Sometimes I do find that using my bone folder to help stick my paper down is always a good idea. Okay. That is my base piece mounted. Now I have a piece for the back outside, which is slightly larger than the back inside. Nope, I actually made them, yes, slightly larger than the back inside. The back outside piece, so the piece for the outside of the back, is 3 7/8 by 2 1/8. You know, I thought I was going to be really good and actually like label everything before I started. And then, you know, obviously I can't figure anything out. So maybe that wasn't such a good idea, guys. I'm not normally that label-like. But again, 3 7/8 by 2 1/8. Use my fingers. I liked this pattern paper by Die Cuts with a View because it had like a lot of keys on it, and I thought it was, you know, shift lock. I thought it was really good for like business cards and stuff. I thought that was going to be a really great addition to my collection here. Okay. Now the back inside piece is 3 3/4 by 2 1/8. And you have to account for that little bit of a difference in cardstock width of your excess chipboard. Okay. Get that in there. Sorry for my head in the camera, guys. I do like glue for this because it does allow me a little bit more wiggle room than if I was using something else. Now, on the inside, again, I did not put a mat down here. If you so choose to put a mat down there, go for it. It will work. Now, we have a front piece here that measures 7/8 of an inch by 3 7/8 of an inch. Slightly smaller. All right, now that once that's gotten stuck down, the only two that we have left are our two sides. Now, very similar to how we actually created the sides, we are going to go ahead and we are going to do the same thing. So you need two pieces that measure 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. Grab yourself a ruler and a pencil, measure up measure up approximately, there we go, approximately 15/16 of an inch. My ruler is not quite enough there. Then go ahead, draw your line. Sorry guys, this is white paper, it's a little harder to see. Take a pair of scissors and cut it. Now, once you've done one, I strongly recommend taking the second one. Obviously, you guys can tell I'm a little bit off, but I'm going to make my two the same. Do one, use the second one as a guide, and cut up. Okay? So you need two pieces that are 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. Measure and cut. And you should get pieces that equal both sides. Go ahead and stick those down. All right, so this is the second side that I'm sticking down here. Now that it is completely down, we are ready to place our business card holder on top of our card base, or base mount there. Now there are two ways you can do it. You can do it with glue. Don't see why you couldn't do it with glue. I am actually going to wind up doing it with glue. But you also can do it with double-sided tape. if you so choose. You can definitely do it with double-sided tape here. I'm probably just going to do it with liquid glue, and we're going to call it a good day. But again, double-sided tape, sorry, I'm going to put that away, is also completely available as an option to you. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit more liquid glue here. I'm going to make sure I do not run outside the boundary, so I'm going to give myself a little bit extra room there. Just run myself some glue along this bottom. Make sure I'm going to get my corners to stick, but I don't want to go too much glue in there. Okay. I like liquid glue because it allows me to do a little bit more lining up than I would have otherwise. If you are a stickler for measurements, you can measure out on each side how much, how far, yada, 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 before you stick this down. I obviously am not quite that much of a stickler. Okay? So once that is down, I would strongly recommend pressing down firmly for just a few minutes there. All right, so now that that's done, all you gotta do is sit here and add your business cards. I made sure I had plenty of width in here that overhang the business cards. I wanted to have easy in and easy out. I also wanted it nice and deep so it held a lot of business cards all at one time, so I didn't have to go searching for them frequently. So, but again, if you want to adjust the depth of your business card holder, see the beginning of the video and it'll show you guys how to do that. Feel free to add little embellishments on here, little typewriters or whatever you guys so choose, onto your business card holder, as that is all up to you at this point in time for decorations. Okay, so I think that is everything. If you guys enjoyed this project, please give it a thumbs up. Check out the description box below for all the directions and dimensions. And if you guys would like to see more videos like this, go ahead and click that subscribe button down there. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is Mel from Cardstock Concoctions. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye.